Taino Histories. Did you know that the conflict between the north and the south of Puerto Rico goes back to colonial times? When the Spaniards first came to Boriken in 1493, they found an island full of people. Every region had its own cacique, and the villages, the Yucayeques, were well organized. They had their own government with a main cacique, Agüey the Elder, and under his command, other great caciques who held together a well-established political, social, and spiritual system. Christopher Columbus quickly realized he couldn't take over the island so easily. Puerto Rico was not empty land, nor was it in disorder. It was a country governed, cultivated, and defended by its own people. That's why he went on to Hispaniola, where he met with Gonzalo Fernández de Oviedo and the colonial officials to plan how they would conquer Boriken. There he met Juan Ponce de León, known for his harsh rule in Higüey, where many Taino communities had been wiped out. Oviedo told the crown about the gold the Boricua caciques wore around their necks and about the importance of taking control of the island. The monarchs authorized the expedition and gave Ponce de León men and weapons with the mission to subdue the caciques and to remove Agüey. In 1508, Ponce landed in Guanica. He was welcomed by Agüey the Elder with a guaitiao, a pact of peace, but that peace didn't last. Soon after, Agüey was removed from power. The Spaniards thought that this would throw the Taino system of government into chaos, but they didn't succeed. The leadership passed to Agüey the Brave, who then led the resistance. The Taínos suspected that Agüey's death was the Spaniards' doing, and soon they attacked their positions. The invaders fled from the south. When they came back, they chose to settle in the north, on the islet of San Juan, which at that time was not yet connected to the main island of Puerto Rico. There they took over the lands of a Taino cachicasgo called Jurutungo, home to fishermen and navigators who lived among the mangroves and the channels. Their bohíos stood so close to the water, they looked like a seaside village. That territory stretched across what today is San Juan, Santurce, Barrio Obrero, the Caño Martín Peña, the San Jose Lagoon, Los Corozos, and Condado, places full of thorny mangrove and swamps, hard for planting but rich in crabs and fish. The Taínos of Jurutungo lived in balance with that ecology. San Juan was a balanced environment until the Spaniards arrived. To build their city, the invaders destroyed the mangroves and began filling in the swamp. They had no machines. They used forced labor. First they used the Taínos, and later enslaved Africans, and after them poor laborers. They cut down the mangrove, dug drainage ditches, and threw in stone, rubble, earth, and trash to make solid ground. Over time, the Bourbon colonial government expanded the city on land taken from the water. Quarry stone, sand, and rubble were used to raise up the ground. They even built walls on top of what had once been swamp. Once under U.S. rule, the process became industrial. Dredges and trucks covered large sections of the Caño Martín Peña and the mangroves of Santurce to expand the city. Poor residents themselves threw in whatever they could to raise a little house above the mud. All of this was done to please the colonizers, who were afraid to live in the south or in the center of the island, where most of the Taínos were. They preferred to govern from San Juan, where they could hide inside the military installations or escape by sea if danger came. And that's why they chose to raise their city in the middle of the mangrove, on flooded lands, filling in swamps for centuries, using forced labor and millions of dollars in resources. We will always remember that in Taino times, our government was in the south, in Guainía, the original capital of Puerto Rico. Follow us for more Taino stories.